in, everybody. MTG Game State, Smoke Packs here. I got some pretty weird top 3 cards. We're gonna go over the spoilers for blanking here. It's weird because all the sets are always coming out. I never know what the fuck's going on, but I just said it. For basically, and Mr. Lime's here, our Fallout Commander decks. And I wanted to go over the mechanics. I wanted to go over the spoilers and the different frames and all the different bullshit going on. So we're gonna get into that. Welcome in, Mr. Lime. Hope everyone out there, hope you're having fun. Thanks for dealing with my bullshit. Microphone, also I wanted to say thank you for, Bri gifting a sub to Microphone. That's really huge. Thank you, Bri. I really appreciate you. Microphone, thank you for tuning in. Sorry about the little stutter there, one-man production. Appreciate y'all. That's gonna go in the YouTube upload. We're gonna love that. So, what the fuck is going on? What am I talking about? Well, guys, believe it or not, Magic the Gathering has gone into, and we mentioned previously before the segment, crossing over with pre-made IPs. They started out with Walking Dead, and they've done tons of other ones. If you look up Magic the Gathering Secret Lair, you'll see tons of them. And they have pre-made commander decks, the format I like to play in Magic, crossover decks. Last time we had Doctor Who, and the one before that we had Warhammer 40K. This time we're moving into a franchise I've actually really never fucked with besides Fallout New Vegas one time on Xbox, is Fallout. And before we get into the spoilers, base check. I wanted to talk about this article, and we'll have all the links in the description of the video, of some of the mechanics that we're going to see in this set. So Magic has seen its share of great wars and apocalyptic disasters, which is true, the last like 5 sets. But maybe nothing quite like this before. It's everyone's favorite retro futuristic hellscape, but maybe not quite as you enjoyed it before. Our latest Universes Beyond collaboration, Magic the Gathering Fallout, will have you braving the wastes and fighting against and alongside many familiar faces and other appendages from the hit series Fallout. There are 4 commander decks and collector boosters, all filled with new cards, and those new cards have new mechanics, so sit back, relax, pop open a Nuka-Cola, and let's review. And all of our Fallout fans, you're gonna love the flavor of this set. It really hits home, and it's gonna be a real good one. So welcome in. Level 1 hype train, that's insane. Welcome in, community. All right, so junk tokens are a new thing. In Magic cards, we have, like in Marvel Snap, there's some cards that create extra cards in your hand. Like Dr. Doom creates extra Dr. Doom tokens that come out on the field. Magic has that as well. And we have junk tokens. You can't saunter across the wastes for too long without realizing that there's just a whole lot of junk out there. In fact, this junk can be a great way to access extra cards. Ready to get to work? And I love these showcase Pip-Boy frames, which are kind of the variant alt art frames in this set. I love that. And there's gonna be a special shiny foil variant, which is called Surge Foil, which has like a really nice finish. I really like the Surge Foils. I really fuck with them a lot. So starting out, we have Dogmeat Everloyal. He's a 3-drop commander, costs red, green, white. Legendary creature dog, 3/3. When Dogmeat enters the battlefield, mill 5 cards, then return an aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. I like that. Kind of going in Naya, equip auras, which I like. Equipment and auras have been getting a lot of love lately, which is nice. They used to kind of be like a secret kind of like, we call them Voltron when you throw a artifact weapon or a magic totem weapon called an aura on a creature. What's going on here? Microphone's paying it forward, gifting 1 tier sub to Joba62X. Microphone, really appreciate you, really love you, bro. And 500 bits? Sheesh. Yeah, the collabs are pretty new, actually. Ploptum's 39 bits? You guys didn't have to do that. Guys, that really means a lot. We're going to go forward and far with all that. I really appreciate that. Really, thank you so much. This is really big. Love y'all. Yeah, GG microphone. And yeah, they do crossovers. There's if you look up Magic the Gathering Secret Lair, Bob Ross, and Street Fighter. Those are two of my favorite ones. And there's also a Fortnite one, which has really baller reprints. For real, for real, for real. So welcome in, Packers. You are now in the community, whether you like it or not. So let's get into what Dog Meat's abilities are. When he enters the battlefield, you get those aura bullshits. And whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, create a junk token. What the hell is a junk token, Smoke Packs? Get to it. It's an artifact with, you tap it and you sack it. Sacrifice. This artifact. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Damn, so we're ramping. When you get those abilities that let you look at the top card of your library and exile and play them, that's kind of big and is a big red color mechanic in Magic in a lot of the new cards. It used to be kind of like an old school thing, but now they're putting that in cards a lot, which I've historically said I don't really fuck with. But in this kind of build, I like. And it's a dog, so you can go flavor and get dog creatures in the deck and go really hard. And I think Rin and Siri, which is a commander in dogs, is in the same color, so you could throw this guy in there, which would be really hilarious. But this is a Fallout New Vegas card. I think everyone really loves this creature. So that's basically junk tokens. Now we're gonna move on to rad counters. You know, since we're in Fallout, it's nuclear. We're gonna get radiated. One consequence of nuclear fallout is that there tends to be an unhealthy amount of radiation everywhere. This set introduces a new kind of counter that gets player rad counters. Rad counters represent your current radiation levels, and the higher that is, the more serious the impact. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, basically your first main phase, you mill cards, meaning you remove cards from the top of your library, equal to the number of rad counters you have. For each non-land card you mill this way, you lose 1 life and a rad counter. So if you have 2 rad counters, on the beginning of your first main phase, you're gonna mill 2 cards, lose 2 life, and then those counters will disappear. Or if you have 10, 2 of those will go away. You get what I'm saying? So the Wise Mothman would have you believe that there are benefits to accruing rad counters, and you do get your fill for your graveyard somewhat quickly. Well, as I sometimes say, one benefit of nuclear fallout is that there tends to be a healthy amount of radiation everywhere. Happy brewing. So basically, this Wise Mothman, his trade-off is you gotta radiate yourself for his perks, which is kind of like a black mana archetype thing where hurting yourself gets you gains, making deals with devils and demons gets you gains. When the Wise Mothman enters a battlefield or attacks, each player gets a rad counter, so you and all of your opponents get a rad counter. Whenever 1 or more non-land cards are milled, put a +1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. Sorry, I'm trying to process while I read. Whenever 1 or more non-land cards are milled, put a +1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. That is fucking huge, jeez. This Wise Mothman's gonna go big. You can't get extra combats in his colors, which sucks. But you can get all the other good stuff, like big creature ramp in green, and milling is huge in blue. Black as well, so that's gonna be good. The VATS overlay on the card is cool. That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. Let's see if we can open that. You guys see that? That's sick. Pip-Boy in the top, and it gets your little HUD. I like that. I like that. Everyone loves the Pip-Boy. That's like a timeless. Every gamer knows it, you know. All right, you crazy guys. Let's get moving. So we got energy counters coming back, and energy counters are an old school thing from the Magic set Kaladesh, which is kind of like it's like the theme of like steampunk in the desert. And energy counters kind of were like broken when they came out, and they were only done one time in a standard set. So coming back in a commander deck set is going to be pretty big, because that means all the old school cards that have energy are going to actually be popping up in value. So we'll see next week how that turns out, and where cards are going to where they lie. The market kind of tends to take a while to adjust to prices. Sometimes they get ahead and cards shoot up in price. Other times it takes like a week or two to get cards like some repricement, like movement. But energy counters, they brought back probably in the theme for plasma weapons, power armor, vault tech, all that good stuff. And energy counters are a kind of counter that players get. Unlike rad counters, energy counters have no inherent rules, meaning, or effects associated with them. They're a resource that you can use to pay costs, like the ones offered by cards such as T45 Power Armor. Sometimes those costs will be offered as a triggered ability resolves. Other costs have activated abilities that require energy to activate. You keep energy counters until you pay them or something causes you to lose the counters. So it's a little confusing, but basically, land cards, mana cards, the little lands that we pull in Magic packs, those are the resources that you use to spend energy on your card's mana sources. Energy is kind of like an alternative cost. It's like an alternative thing you can accumulate to cast spells that require energy, so you don't have to pay. This is the mana cost. You use lands to cast the mana costs. Energy gives you a little alternative route instead. So when T45 Power Armor enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Equipped creature gets +3 and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay energy. If you do, untap equipped creature. Then put your choice of a menace, trample, or lifelink counter on it. This is a huge equip. Pretty fucking nuts. All you really need is one more energy card, like a card that synergizes with the energy, and this will pop off really big in Commander. Already on its own, it's fucking, that's great. So, getting towards the end of the article, Proliferate is returning, and Proliferate means if you have a counter, choose any number of permanents and or players that have counters and give them an extra one of that kind. So you could have 3, 2, or 1 different types of counters on the field, a rad counter, I believe an energy counter, and all these other different types of counters, like +1 counters, which are buffs on the attack of a creature, and double that up. So that's big, and that's a real huge mechanic in Magic that's kind of gotten big lately, and they've really been showing love. So this is Agent Frank Horrigan. He must be a big cool character. He's a mutant, and he has indestructible as long as he's attacked this turn. And when he enters the battlefield or attacks, you proliferate twice, which is huge. And that's just it. It's just a returning Magic keyword. It's not that big of a deal. Squad, though, what the fuck is this? There aren't many cards in this release that have the returning keyword Squad, but you don't need many cards with Squad to definitely feel outnumbered. So Squad must be an old school mechanic that even I don't fucking know. So Squad 2, as an additional cost to cast this card, so you pay 3, and then you can pay 2 any number of times. So you can pay 2 any number of times plus its main cost. When this creature enters the battlefield, create that many tokens that are copies of it. Holy shit. When Powder Ganger enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target artifact. So this is kind of like a copy spot removal, so you can probably pull it off. So 3, 4, 5. If you have 7 or 8 mana, you probably get like 1 or 2 copies of them and get 2 artifacts destroyed, which is pretty big, instead of getting rid of 1 card. And he's a creature. Humans in Magic tend to have bigger, stronger effects and are usually more cooler. These are some of the variants extended art. So that's pretty interesting with that Squad. I didn't know about that. And we're going to get into the spoilers now of this set. I'm pretty hyped on this. We're going to see. I'm going to show you all what's going on. If you guys are Fallout fans, you're going to know more of these guys than I really did. We saw some already in that article. But just real quick to get into it. Does the new energy card mean you could use mana and energy at the same time? You can, but I don't think on the same card. Like, you could spend mana to cast one spell that just has its mana cost bullshit. And then if you have another card in hand that has energy costs or like energy buffs, and you have some energy stored, you could remove the energy counters that you have stored up and pay that cost. But I don't think on one single card microphone you can use mana and energy at the same time. I don't believe that's possible. Good questions, guys. Honestly, always feel free to ask questions. There's no dumb questions around here. I love doing that. I may sound stupid replying, but it's just because Magic has a lot to think about. It's kind of got like a lot of legalese types of rulings and stuff too. So some of these spoilers are, again, this is all for commander decks. These are products which are ready to make Magic decks. It's a format called Commander, which you could just play in any number amount of groups of people from like 2 to like 5 players to 6 players. The sweet spot's usually 4 players, free for all. And you get a 99 card deck, and then it has a general that's outside of the deck for its 100th card. And the general, its colors it's always going to be a legendary creature, and its colors are going to determine what colors you use in that deck. So Preston Garvey Minuteman, his colors are red, green, white. All of your cards are going to be one single of each type of card, no doubles, of a card in those colors. And then you build around that and complement around the abilities of your commander. So, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a green or enchantment token named Settlement attached to up to 1 target land you control. It has Enchant Land, and Enchant Land has tap. Add 1 mana of any color. I love to see this. Again, in Naya, it's pretty big. Whenever Preston Garvey Minuteman attacks, untap each enchanted permanent you control. This is pretty fucking big. It's in colors I kind of don't really play in, but I see what's going on. We got a mutant. I'm not going to go over all of these cards. Usually in the spoilers, I tend to just go over cards that really catch my eye. The links will always be in the article, or in the description, and you could go to mythicspoiler.com for Magic spoilers. Magic spoilers used to be like a secret hush-hush kind of thing. Now they're more, everyone's always talking about them and expecting them. When the Master Transcendent enters the battlefield, target player gets 2 rad counters. So you could choose yourself or anybody. Put target creature card in the graveyard that was milled this turn onto the battlefield under your control. It's a green mutant with base power and toughness 3/3. So you can get your opponent's creatures and steal them from their deck, or you can do it and ramp yourself out from your deck. Your creature's power and toughness will go from a 4/4 to a 3/3, but it'll still have different abilities that you can get the benefits from. So that's pretty cool. This is Sultai. The different colors of Magic, there's 2 color combos, 1 color combo, 3 and 4 have different names. This one in this color set is called Sultai. This is Naya. This is Mardu. And America, red, white, and blue, I believe is called Jeskai. They're different types of archetypes from a Magic set from like 7 or 8 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago now. So that's some facts for you there. So we got Mr. House President and CEO. Everyone in my friend group is really hyped about this card. And anytime you get a card in Magic, since the Dungeons and Dragons set that lets you roll dice, you love to do that. It's really fun. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher, create a 3/3 colorless robot artifact creature token. If you rolled a 6 or higher instead, create that token and a treasure token. And a treasure token is just an artifact that lets you get extra mana of any color. 4 and tap, roll a 6-sided die, plus an additional 6-sided die for each mana from treasure spent to activate this ability. So this is kind of like a Treasures Matter deck commander, which I like in Mardu. And Mardu really cares about humans in this color set, so you can probably get some weird like Dungeons and Dragons combo cards in this deck that you're gonna fuck with. Love to see that. Base check, base check. Can you hear me? Can you feel me? Dr. Madison Lee coming in as a red, white, blue commander, human scientist, legendary creature 2/3. Energy Matters commander. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get 1 energy. You get that energy counter. Pay energy. Target creature gets +1 and gains trample and haste until end of turn. So instead of paying, this is like, you store up a side token of this shit, and she gives you benefits off that. You can pay 3 energy that you've had stored up and tap her and draw a card, which is decent. Or you could do 2, 3, 4, 5 energy. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That is fucking huge. You can do some artifact sack shenanigans. Get it back from your graveyard with her. Love to see that. Democracy is not a choice. That's very Helldiver-ish. I don't know any of these guys, so this is all new to me. In my Discord, one of the Magic homies I made friends with in my Magic session, he shared this, and this is an OG reprint. Mechanized production with the new art, and this is a great card. Enchant artifact you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as another one, as the same name as one another, you win the game. Love that, because anytime you have weird cards that just auto end the fucking game, it's really funny. Anguished Unmaking is an old school reprint also. Exile target non-land permanent, you lose 3 life. Marcus Mutant Mayor, Vigilance Trample. This could be a commander in 2 colors, green, blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that creature has a +1 counter on it. If it doesn't, put a +1 counter on it. This is sick, and this would be big in a Proliferate deck as well, where you can get double counters onto your creatures. This is in German. I don't know how to read German, unfortunately, sorry. Sometimes, so Magic's a global game. There's cards in German, Russian, Chinese Simplified, Japanese, Korean, different forms of Latin American languages, Italian, and other various European languages as well. It's a global game, and no matter what language it's in, even all this different language, it all means the same. Everyone knows and can communicate with each other. Realistically, for real. It's truly a global, crazy game. I was watching today a tournament. I believe it was a gentleman at the Chicago Pro Tour that's going on this weekend. I was watching on Twitch, on the Magic the Gathering Twitch. A gentleman, I believe he was from Indonesia, and he was fighting another gentleman from Canada in a game, in a tournament, a professional tournament scene, which is really cool. All their cards are in English, but I know they probably all know English too, but like there's sometimes in Magic where people in tournaments don't speak the same language and can just communicate and still get the game kicked off, even at the pro level, and I really appreciate that. We love language, as a co-founder of the show is a linguist, so there's that for you. So, Moira Brown, Survival Guide author, 1 red and a white. Legendary creature, human citizen, so citizens are coming back, 2/3. When Moira Brown, Survival Guide author, enters the battlefield, create a colorless equipment artifact token named Wasteland Survival Guide. With equipped creature, gets +1 for each quest counter or on permanent you control, and equip 1. Whenever you attack, put a quest counter on target non-land permanent you control. I believe these quest counters are in older cards. We might see some of that come up in the market over the next week or so. That sounds familiar to me. That was a mouthful. So some of these guys you might know, Arcade Ganon, Assemble the Legion. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on Assemble the Legion. Then create a 1/1 red and white soldier token with haste for each muster counter on Assemble the Legion. Mr. Lime, resident subscriber of the show, resident Magic the Gathering pro, and my friend, he's had this card and he's wrecked my life with it. I like Agent Frank Corrigan, he seems cool. Alpha Deathclaw, we have Mutants, we have Monstrosity coming back, and that's an ability where it's an alternate cast. After you cast this card, you can pay a different cost of, you can pay an extra cost of Monstrosity, where if this creature isn't monstrous, put 4+1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous. I believe that's a one-time paid ability after you cast the card. But hey, it is what it is. You get a Menace Trample, 6/6 Lizard Mutant. When it enters the battlefield or becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent. That's pretty big. And if you kill it and find a way to bring it back, you can get that value back, which is sick. Now, there's These cards, which are enchantments in Magic, there are a type called sagas. The creator of Magic, Richard Garfield, he created sagas in one of the Dominaria sets when he came back as a designer, as a guest designer for a game he created like 30 years ago. He's no longer involved in Magic, but they asked him back and he created a love set, and he did. And in the middle of that, he created a new enchantment type, which is Saga. And the Sagas are really cool in this set because they're gonna be based off the vaults. So you got Vault 21, Vault 87, and Sagas are, as this enters and after you draw, and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Sacrifice after 3. So this is a little confusing. We'll start with this one. Your first upkeep step, you're gonna put a counter on it. You're gonna unlock the first chapter. Second go around, you're gonna go to chapter 2. Third go around, you'll go to chapter 3, and then you'll get rid of it on your fourth go because there won't be an ability and it will go bye-bye. Sometimes 1 and 2 can be the same ability and they just let you know that. But that's chapters on sagas. A lot of learning today, a lot of stuff for you guys. Some stuff I'm just kind of skipping over because it gets really intensive. Do your own research, I like to say, kind of so I could lead you into this game like an evil man I am. Desmonda, Freedom's Edge. We'll get into another card real quick. When she attacks target creature in your graveyard that's an artifact or has mana values 3 or less, gains escape until end of turn. All right, more abilities coming back. The escape cost is equal to its mana cost. Exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast it from your graveyard for its escape cost this turn. So escape is basically an alternate casting cost for cards in your graveyard. You exile, meaning remove cards from your graveyard from the game, so you can't fuck with them anymore, and put them in a zone that they can't be fucked with, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you know? And you get 1 card back onto the battlefield. It's kind of weird. So sorry I had to show you guys that card. That was a little weird, huh? Rex Cyberhound is also another energy card that people really, really tend to fuck with. In the spoilers, I saw a lot of people talking about this, and we're going to talk about it. So when he deals combat damage to a player, they mill 2 cards and you get 2 energy. And you can pay 2 energy. Choose target creature card in a graveyard, exile it with a brain counter on it, activate only as a sorcery. Rex has all activated abilities of all cards in exile with brain counters on them. And again, brain counters are kind of like just like a separate zone that basically like you place cards to, and some cards care about exile. The more you know, the more you know. We seem to have lost the music, but that's okay. We don't need it. But yeah, that's basically the spoilers for the site. We got Vault 112, Sadistic Simulation, as cool chapters with energy. And, you know, hey, it is what it is, guys. These are the Magic spoilers for the set. We're going to see more coming out. These are commander decks, which tend to be really heavy in cards. That's why I'm not, like, really actively going over every single one. But some of my favorite ones, like, this is my huge want card. Kate, Cage Baller. As long as it's your turn, he has Indestructible. When he attacks, you and defending player each draw a card, then discard a card. Put 2+1 counters on Kate if you discarded the card with the highest mana value among those cards or tied for highest. Sorry if that sounded weird. Let's read that back. When Kate attacks, you and defending player each draw a card, then discard a card. Put 2+1 counters on Kate if you discarded the card with the highest mana value among those cards or tied for the highest. So if he's your commander, you probably want a lot of cards that are higher than his cost and probably higher than what your opponent's going to have. So when you do this little deck gamble, you get the payoff. I kind of am interested in that. Don't worry, I solved the technical difficulties of the music. We're back in it. Shout out to Sawteeth, guys. Honestly, thank you for the follows and the bits and the cheers. I don't want you ever to like expect to give me money or anything like that. Although it will always go back into production of the show and building stuff. In the middle of the segment, we'll do a plug. But before you ever support me, I honestly can't say support Sawteeth, 18-year-old South Korean music producer doing all this drum and bass you hear on stream, giving us permission to play their music. If you got $4, $5, $6 to spare, not today even, but ever in the future, I'd say toss them that support and buy them a Name Your Price album off their Bandcamp in the comments. Just trying to be grateful and paying it forward. Never expect it always, but that's the kind of shit I'm on, so. Nuclear Fallout is a great flavor card I wanted to highlight. We had a little stutter there with that technical difficulty, but we'll get up on some more cards and then we'll go finish the segment. Each creature gets twice minus X counters until end of turn. Each player gets X rad counters, and we already went over the rad counters where at the beginning of your upkeep, you're gonna mill cards, lose life, and then the counters go away. So you're gonna pay X, where X could be any amount of colors of mana, and then 2 black. And if you paid 3, each creature, even your own, they're gonna get twice 3. So 6 minus counters, which means their power and toughness, this is power and this is toughness, will lose minus, so they'll go down to a 0. And this will, if it was 3, it'll also go down to a 0, which would kill the creature. If a creature's defense, if its attack is 0, it lives, but if its defense goes down to 0 at any point in combat or before, it dies. So you guys are learning a lot. You don't get this type of shit from anyone else, but I try to give it for you. Some cool flavor cards, and especially in the Pip-Boy flavor, we got Inventory Management, which is gonna be a card I also want for my equip decks. Red-white, instant, split second. For each aura and equipment you control, you may attach it to a creature you control. So if you have equipment out on the field that have an equip cost of 3, you can get around that by just playing this, and it can't be countered with the split second ability. Hey man, it is what it is. You gotta get in this shit. We got Nuka-Cola, we got fucking mutated squirrels, we got vaults. This is the type of shit I'm on daily. Power armor. Almost most perfect, we highlighted on the show. Again, another chase card I'd want from this set. Enchant creature, it's an aura. It has base power and toughness 9-10, which is huge. And it gains indestructible, meaning it can't be destroyed, which is, again, fucking huge. And that's really it. We'll have all the links in the descriptions. This is like 4 decks worth of spoiled cards. We never used to get this in the old school world. We got fucking bobbleheads. And bobbleheads in this set have different abilities and kind of care about other bobbleheads, if that must be a big deal. We got the Nuka-Cola vending machine. So yeah, guys, get at it, get the decks. If they'll probably be at your Target, your Walmart, wherever you find them. The land base in this set's gonna be big. We got artifact lands that are indestructible as dual lands, that's big. Filter lands that filter, pay 1 of any color and you'll get double, that's huge. These are, if you're getting into Magic for collecting, these decks are just gonna be great to have. And really flavorful stuff. And hey, that is what it is. So, to end it all off, beautiful, flavorful Magic Gathering full art lands. These used to be very rare. Full art lands used to be a very rare thing you'd get during one type of set in Magic. Now look at how much they're giving us in all these different products. You guys are so lucky to be involved in this if you ever are to play this game, because this is one of the greatest times to get in. We're in crazy hyper times for sure, but hey man, I love these arts. This is beautiful. Toxic wasteland landscapes, the mountainous landscapes, really flavorful. These will be the rad counter tokens. This will be your energy tokens. Nuka-Cola food tokens. Food night tokens. Wasteland survival guide token artifact. Thopters food tokens again. So yeah, We got all the showcase frames, and again, showcase frames are just variants. This is gonna be, oh. And if you're staying at the end, you know I was just bullshitting because I wanted to get to the sick fucking cards. Some of the sick reprint variants in the Fallout style, like Ravages of War is an old school reprint coming back, and it's Destroy All Lands, which is really mean. We got War Room, Nuka-Cola Vending Machine, and full extended alt art. Guys, we can't make this shit up. I was just juicing you till this point. I didn't forget that these cards were in the set. Trust me. Crucible of Worlds? Shit. I gotta get this set. This is a fucking huge set. The Fortnite Magic crossover has a Crucible of Worlds reprint, but this would be sick as fuck. This card used to be like $50 to $40, and then it got reprinted early in Magic's history, as of like 10 years ago, I mean. And it went down to like 10 to 20. All my friends bought it but me, and I told them to buy the card. And now it's gone back up in price. Shame on smoke packs. And then, Bri, you were asking if there's special money cards. There's money cards in this set in the form of printed like one of cards. So like one of 500, 200 of 500. You'll find those in probably the booster packs that are themed around Fallout. They're called collector's boosters. And these cards will be like $200 to $1,000 at any given time because they're collector's pieces. So there you go. That's all I got for you guys. We're gonna move on. This is a chunky episode. And I do this for you guys. I do this for the community. Usually I keep these episodes like 15, 20 minutes, but if we get a 40 to a 50-minute episode, hey, I love it. And we're gonna get to the market watch. You know, guys, Magic the Gathering, it's not just opening packs. It's not just targeting toxic community people with your fucking cool cards and being that bitch. Each Magic card, for everyone who's new here, is kind of like an individual stock. And there is a tracking market for it. Look at, we even have the cool, funny ticker, like we're that serious. And this is a part of the show where I like to talk about my top 3, and I give a extended 4th honorable mention. So we're gonna get into that. First card on my list is a card I own, and all of these today are weird cards that I'm seeing going up. Last week we were looking at big top hitting cards that are in premium sets, pardon me, base check, that are leveling out. These are cards that are more in accessible standard sets and are in current formats like Modern and Pioneer that have been recently reprinted and are going up into prices where they should be after 3 to 4 years of not being anywhere. So first on the list is Cemetery Prowler. This is a recent card printed in the Eldritch themed Magic set. And I wanted to bring up the Innistrad double feature, the Innistrad. All of the printings are kind of actually floating up a little bit, but the extended art, which is one I have, which is a nice little variant. And for everyone at home, he's a wolf, one of my favorite creature types in the game. 3-drop, Vigilance, meaning he doesn't tap to attack. You could just leave him untapped. He doesn't turn sideways. You could leave him vertical to attack. When he enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a creature card from a graveyard. Spells you cast cost 1 less for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. So you could hit your opponent's graveyard or your graveyard with him, and when he enters and when he attacks, you can remove a card like an instant, a creature, a sorcery, and its a little generic cost will cost 1 less. So if you have another Cemetery Prowler in a 60-card format in hand, your next one, if you exile the card that's like a creature from a graveyard, will cost just 2 green. That's pretty big. So in my market research, I had them being listed on the market on TCG Player at $7.25 all around average. Market's buying at $7.68, so the market's buying high and listing a little bit low. I'm on the regular printing, on my mistake, not the extended art. Sorry. So the regular old school flat printing is seeing some growth, seeing some life. I like to see that. It is not being used in any current decks, which is weird. But the double feature is also going up. We're seeing some other variants. Like the black, this was from like a black and white Frankenstein's like monster kind of themed set. We're seeing some life there. Average listing being listed at $8.74. Market's buying really low because this variant used to be in this whole double feature set. All of these variants are historically cheap. So market's getting ahead, buying low, selling high. Love to fucking see that. Cards I own, I like to put it on the show, so there you go. Another card I own, and this is a card, if we're talking investment, if we're talking parking in real estate, parking your money in real estate, Misty Rainforest. This is a card that at one time used to be $90. Has gone up and down over time. And this is from 2013 to like 17. All you ever really fucking had was the old school expedition variant, which is the old school way we got full art lands. We never used to get that before in Magic. This is like 2009 I'm talking. And then you had pretty much that's it. You just had the Zendikar expedition and then the original Zendikar printing. So that's around 2013, sorry I should say, to like 14, up to like 2017, till we got a reprint. And then the reprint gate got really unflooded. But basically, this is a land, it's a part of a cycle where you get to pay 1 life, sack Misty Rainforest, or the other types of lands that are like this kind of card if you have them. Search your library for a forest or an island, put it on the battlefield untapped, which is huge, meaning it comes in vertically, not horizontally. Then shuffle your library. These are called fetch lands, meaning they fetch your cards that have forest or island in their ability, and some of those cards are big, and these are just fast ways of ramping up to gaining resources. This is tournament level stuff. These are must-have cards that are used in all formats. It's currently being used in Modern. It's in some decks already, I can see here. It's being used in Legacy, which is older school, 93, 94 cards. It's a must-have. These kinds of cards that let you pay 1 life and search for the land types are must-have. Now, I wanted to highlight this though because lands, especially these types of lands, when you invest and buy into them, you're really parking into real estate. This is like Monopoly shit, okay? This is some shit you want. So we're seeing growth now of an old school card in the Modern Horizons 2 regular variant, one of the most recent reprintings. My market research was seeing listed at $19.99 and buying at $18. So now we're pretty much seeing around that same thing. Average listing's actually gone up to $21 and market's buying at 20. So that's pretty big. So I just wanted to we're learning. You guys really hyper fast on different facets of Magic. So I appreciate everyone sticking around and hearing me do this shit. Chunky Fs. But highlighting this is really serious. The Misty Rainforest fetch lands, these are serious money cards for investment. And I fuck with these cards. I have them myself. Moving forward, another card I own, and this was a card which is really obscure and only available in the Commander format, but you got it in a standard season set, which is kind of weird. But Hollowhenge Overlord, a wolf, and it's a card I own. And again, regular printing. If you want the extended art Commander card printing, you have to get it in a special card pack, like a set booster or a collector's booster, which is really interesting. So we're seeing this card printing shoot the fuck up. I had extended art listed at $20 on the market, and the market is actually buying high at $20.64. So it's kind of averaging out. Everyone's trying to get this card wherever they can. Up until about like this year and last year, this was like a $5 to $4, $2 card. This is a nothing card. I own this. But it's in a Commander deck set, so it can get a chance to get reprinted all the damn fucking time. But the extended art you get only in specialty packs. So that's gonna kind of command a higher price, no matter how much it gets reprinted, okay? unless they reprint another extended, this is gonna command a price. So I think the market's just kind of getting ahead of that and kind of catching up. So that was my top 3. We're gonna get into, again, my honorable mention, and this is gonna be complementary to the fetch land we talked about. This is gonna be Jetmir's Garden. This is a new deck, a new kind of card. They're called triomes. We usually have dual lands, meaning a land taps for 2 colors. If it's split between 2 different colors, this is split between 3. Jetmir's Garden enters tapped, but when you get untapped, meaning when it comes in vertically, you can get 3 different mana. And so you can get red, green, white off of him. Or if you have it in hand, you could pay 3 of any color and discard it from your hand to draw a card, which is pretty big. But why I wanted to bring this up is the triomes are finally coming the fuck up. These are the new big boy bad lands for Standard and Legacy and Pioneer, all that stuff. The new fetchable lands. If you had a Misty Rainforest, which said to search your library for, I believe it was an island or a forest. This is a mountain forest plains. Misty Rainforest would still search for this because it's looking for a forest. It tells you right there. Big shit. So these cards are being used still, and I'm seeing market listing at $18.43, buying at 16 bucks. So everyone's trying to get ahead of this, and it's only printed in this kind of style art. There's no extended arts, I guess, which is weird. I thought there was. And so, yeah, that's really what I wanted to highlight. And this is, again, real estate you want to park your money into if you're a collector, and just if you're a casual Magic player or a Commander player, or even anyone in the 60-card format, since this card is legal in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. So it's not even legal in Standard anymore. Goddamn. So anything that's not legal in some formats that are current, like the current season, when they rotate out, they also tend to have their prices raised because they become more old in collector's pieces, and they're only going to be able to be played in certain formats. So that's also another real interesting thing I want to talk to you guys. Pretty much end of the segment. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. That's huge, chunky, at least an hour's worth of Magic info for y'all.